This is the fourth video in the Nomadics exercise system. The previous videos had been the morning movements, the flexibility, and the strength training system. This video is called Coordination and Multi-Movement. And the movements in this form are a combination of African dance, Sufi dance, ball spinning, ball juggling, all done at the same time. Why are we doing that? One of the purposes of my movements are to develop this capacity of simultaneous focuses of concentration. You've heard of this where people do 2 things at once? Well, it's very possible to do 3, 4, 5, 6 things at once. But to do that with a sense of concentration and a sense of awareness is what we're going to learn to do in this video. Initially, some of these movements will look very, very difficult to do. So there's a 3-step process. First of all, you see me do it, and you become conceptually aware of what I'm doing by the movements. I'll talk about having my shoulders go in simultaneously opposite directions, and I'll show it to you, and you'll understand it. And then slowly you practice. And during this practice, it's very important not to try too hard. When you try too hard, or you try to make the circles too big or too fast, if you have some notion of how you should be, it will get in the way. So very, very important, when you're first learning these motions, is just do them gently, and don't be in a hurry. Some of the motions that I'm going to show you in this video, I've been working on, and you'll notice that I still am a little uncoordinated at times. Some of these motions I've been working on for 15 or 20 years. Why am I trying to do these motions? Well, you know, you've probably heard that scientists say most human beings use between 5 and 15% of their inherent mental faculties. When I first heard that, I was a young boy, and I thought, that's sort of embarrassing. I'm only using 5 to 15% of my inherent mental faculties. Where are the other 85? What are they? How do I find them? I began to study movement a long time ago, and I came to understand that the right side of the brain controls the left side of the body, and the left side of the brain controls the right side of the body. Well, the converse of that is also true. If the right brain controls the left side of the body, it means when you are doing something with the left side of your body, it's activating a certain part of your right brain. Well, it's not just that you have left and right sides of your body, but you have upper and lower too. And you have these 4 different appendages, these 4 different limbs. So what I've come to understand is the different types of movement you can do with your legs and your arms in the spherical space surrounding your body, going in a clockwise or a counterclockwise direction, on either the left or the side or across the midline. All these different types of movement allows you to pinpoint a focus of concentration in a part of your body movement and thereby a corresponding location inside your brain. Now, this is very interesting that I've said right and left side of your body, because there's 3 things we'll work on here. I've got my right side of my body and I've got my left side of my body. With my right side, I could be doing something on my right side, or across the midline, it could be doing the same motion on the left side. So the right side or the left side could do that. I could be going across the midline. I can go counterclockwise or clockwise. And then we'll even add in motions with our legs. At first in this video, what we'll do is we'll just learn some basic movements. There's about 8 or 10 basic movements that we're going to learn, and then we'll start layering these movements. And when we layer these movements, we come into this possibility, this wonderful, wonderful possibility of the stationing of our attention in distinct anatomical regions of our body at the same time. Such a fantastic experience. It's very, very meditative, and it will have a wonderful effect upon things that you do in the rest of your daily activities. For example, if you open up the refrigerator door and you're pulling out a pitcher of orange juice, and you hit something that's got something in it and it starts to fall out, very often without even thinking about it, I find one hand reaching and grabbing one thing and the other goes there. I didn't think about it because my body is so trained at doing different things at the same time. I can do that, and you'll find that in yourself, and the practice of these is really, really fun. So we're going to start the video now, and I hope you enjoy it. Now we're about to start learning the basic body movements. There's a series of 8 different types of movements we're going to learn, using our hands, using our shoulders, using our hips going in circles, turning our body, doing some things with our fingers. All of these movements have circles in them. circles. Circles, circles, circles. There's only two possible circles, directions that you can go in, either clockwise or counterclockwise. What I mean by this is notice my right hand now, relative to me, is spinning the balls in a clockwise circle. And then I can reverse the direction so they're spinning counterclockwise. Same thing with the left hand. Now the left hand is spinning clockwise, and the left hand is now spinning counterclockwise. Well, it can do it on the left side of the body, or it could cross the midline. Same motion is happening. Spinning clockwise right here, or I cross the midline and the left side of my body is over on the right doing a clockwise motion, or I could reverse it to counterclockwise. When you're doing these circles, the size of the circle, in a while we're going to do some shoulder circles, the size of the circle isn't important, but the circularness of the circle is what is important. Imagine that you're driving a car around a racetrack that's a perfectly circular racetrack, and you're in a tunnel. There's a tunnel going around, and you want to drive that car at a consistent speed. It doesn't matter whether you're going 20 miles an hour or 1,000 miles an hour, but you're going at a consistent speed, and you don't want to bang into the walls on either the inside or the outside of the tunnel. You're going in a perfect circle. So a lot of times I'll shut my eyes so I don't have the visual distraction of what's happening around the room, and I'll feel the circles. Feeling. You can practice these motions with the visual input, or you can shut your eyes and you can practice it completely with a feeling input. And the feeling input is the one that is going to allow you to develop the perfect circles the best. So the size of the circle and the speed of the circle are not important, but the circularness, the roundness, the 360 degrees of circle, and the ability to station your attention and feel all 360 degrees. I think you'll find it really exciting. The first movements we'll do are the arm movements, and there's 4 different movements we'll do. Number 1 are arm wheels. Notice that I'm going forward with my hands. There's 2 different directions. I can go backwards or forwards. The movement is primarily coming out of my elbows and not out of my hands. You can do it out of your hands as I'm doing now, but I'm more interested in you learning to do it out of your elbows. One of the things we're going to try to do is have perfect circles with our hands and see how close we can bring our hands to one another. The second motion is arm crossovers. And notice I'm having my right arm go over my left and then my left arm go over my right. So it's right over left and left over right, just back and forth. And later on we'll add this movement as we'll add all of the others into other movements. The next movement are arm circles. Now what I'm doing here is having my right arm go counterclockwise and my left arm go clockwise, and I'm having the right arm go on top of the left and then the left on top of the right. So both arms are spinning inwards. Now I can reverse it so both arms are spinning outwards, and it's right hand going clockwise and left hand now going counterclockwise. Still right over left and left over right. And they're perfect circles. If you could see from where I'm looking, if I look down at my hands, I'll see that my hands are going in perfect circles over one another. So again, we're spinning in, both arms are spinning in, and now both arms are spinning out, and always going left over right and then right over left. We can also have both arms going clockwise. And again, I can switch it so it's right over left and left over right. And in a while, we'll be adding ball spinning to our hands while we're doing this motion. But first, we're getting the basics. Now here what I'm doing is counterclockwise movements, which is the left hand spinning out and the right hand spinning in. And again, I'm going left over right and right over left. So again, the 4 different movements that we do here are both arms spinning in, again with left over right and right over left. Both arms spinning out, still with left over right and right over left. Both arms going clockwise, or both arms going counterclockwise. The 4th of the hand movements are figure 8s. Now my hands are tracing figure 8s. If you watch my hands, you'll see they're tracing figure 8s. Now I'll reverse the directions of those two figure eights. And here I'll reverse them again. So if I just had one arm, you can really, and I'll slow it down now, and you'll see how I'm making a figure eight. And I can reverse the direction of that figure eight also. So here it is again, both. And then reversing the direction. Now what we'll do is we'll have the figure eights going in the same direction, that way or this way. So again, the four are this one, this one, this one, and this one. Now we'll do some shoulder circles. While I do the shoulder circles, I'm going to put my hands on my belly button and keep my fingers lightly clasped together, and I'm not going to allow the movement to initiate from my wrists or my elbows. Normally when people do shoulder circles in dance classes, they're wrist and elbow assisted shoulder circles. By immobilizing our hands on our belly, we don't allow our hands or our elbows to participate in the circles. Now what I'll do is 8 different types of shoulder circles. The first one I'll call simultaneous backwards. And if I turn to the side, you would see that my shoulders are in fact going backwards. So again, I call this simultaneous backwards. And what I'm trying to do here is I'm not interested so much in the size of the circle or the speed of the circle, but in the circularness, the roundness of the circle. And now I'll reverse it, and I'm going simultaneous forwards. And again, if I turn to the side, you'll see that the shoulders are opposite. Here was the backwards, and here's the forwards. And you'll notice that my hands, I'm trying not to move my hands on my belly, and I'm not helping with my elbows lifting up. It's just the shoulders that are doing the work. The third one are alternate backwards. The shoulders are still going in the same direction backwards, but they're doing it alternate. And now I'll switch it to alternate forwards. Now the next one is I'll do simultaneous opposites. That's the right shoulder going back and the left going forward. And I'll turn slightly to the side, and so you'll see the difference between them. My right shoulder is going back and my left shoulder is going forwards. Or I can reverse it and have the left shoulder going back and the right shoulder going forwards. These are simultaneous opposites, and there's 2 possibilities. Again, with right going back, left going forwards, or left going back, right going forwards. The 7th is alternate opposites. Still the right is going back and the left is going forward, or left is going back and right is going forward. One shoulder is coming up while the other is going down. In the simultaneous opposites, they're both going up at the same time and dropping down at the same time. In the alternate opposites, one is coming up at the time that the other one is coming down. So there's 8 different shoulder circles: simultaneous backwards, simultaneous forwards, alternate backwards, alternate forwards, simultaneous opposites with right back, left forwards, and simultaneous opposites with left back, right forwards, and then alternate opposites, again with right back and left forward, and left back and right forward. We'll do 3 different leg movements. We'll do them on both sides, both with our right leg and our left leg. The first one is called a leg pendulum. I lift my leg up, and it works on your balance at the same time. And notice that my leg is a pendulum out of my knee. Right now I'm spinning in a clockwise circle, which is the circle going out. I can reverse it so it's a counterclockwise circle with a circle spinning in. And what you want to try to do is the size of the circle and the speed of the circle is not important. What is important is that the circle itself is a circle. So you could imagine that there's a circle drawn on the ground beneath your feet, the foot that's up in the air, and you could be tracing that circle. So again, we're going clockwise or counterclockwise in either leg. And I call counterclockwise with the left leg is spinning in, and counterclockwise with the left leg is spinning out. On the right leg, again the pendulum, spinning out is clockwise and spinning in is counterclockwise. The next one, those were what we just did, were leg pendulums. Now we'll do foot pendulums or foot circles. So here my knee is stationary and the foot is going in a clockwise circle spinning out, or I have it go in a counterclockwise circle spinning in. The trick here is to have your foot spinning around without having tension in your toes. So the foot is just going around in a circle, but the toes are not tight. And you should learn to do it on either side. Here's left foot spinning out or counterclockwise, or left foot spinning in or clockwise. Notice my knee isn't moving. The size of the circle of the foot, again, is not important, nor the speed, but the perfect circularness of the circle is what we're working on. The third of the leg movements are leg crossovers. Notice that first of all, I find my balance. And once I find my balance, then I point my toe, I lift my knee, and it's the knee leading and the foot following. The knee is leading and the foot is following. And we're crossing the midline of the body, which is what's very, very important here. We're using the right side of our body to do something, but it's going over and doing it on the left side. And you work that on either side. And if you notice, you have a dominance. Everyone is going to be right-handed or left-handed, which means you're right-legged or left-legged. And there's a tendency for us to do that which is easiest. But it's very important in learning these exercises that you work your dominant and your non-dominant equally, or you work your non-dominant more so that it keeps up with your dominant. So notice my foot is pointed and the knee is leading and the foot is following. Now what we're going to do is hip circles. Get this from African dance and belly dance. So first of all, I'm going to be going in a counterclockwise circle. That is, if I was standing on a clock and I were to look straight down, I would see my hips going around a circle in a counterclockwise direction. It's not coming out of my knees. It's coming out of my hips, and my belly is very soft. My knees are moved by the circles in my hips, but the knees are not initiating it. I'm still going counterclockwise, and now I'll reverse it, so I'm going clockwise. Again, if I looked down and I was standing on a large clock, I'd see my hips were going around in a clockwise direction. Now, in order to learn this, it's very helpful to sometimes bend the knees a good bit so that the knees are really disengaged. The knees are not allowed to help with the movement. And see, my knees don't flop, go side to side. It's just the hips going around in a circle. I'm going counterclockwise and in reversing it to clockwise. And it's important here that the hips go equally far to the sides as they go forwards and backwards. Another way to learn this motion is to cross the legs, crouch down, and then try to find the circles. When the legs are, one leg is put behind the other, and you crouch down, it makes it more difficult to do the movement, so that when you find it in this position of difficulty, and doing it on either side with left behind right or right behind left, when you find it in this position of difficulty, then when you come back to the position where it's more natural to do it, you'll find that the circles are more fluid. And so sometimes what I'll do is I'll shut my eyes and I'll take my attention into my hips, and I'm feeling this perfect gentle circle. It's 360 degrees that I'm allowing my awareness to trace. Now what we'll do is very, very simple, slow spins of the body. They don't have to be fast, because in a while, in the second part of the video, when we begin adding other motions to this, you're going to see that you don't really need to have it going fast, because you're just doing something different with the brain. So you can only spin in two different directions, clockwise or counterclockwise. And while we're doing this, the hands are soft, the face is soft, the belly is soft, the breathing is easy. So two different directions, clockwise or counterclockwise. Another one of the basic exercises that we'll do involve use of the fingers and the hands. When we do these exercises later on in the video where we combine them with other movements, our hands will be hanging down. But in the first part of the video, I'm going to show you the movements against the backdrop of my shirt so that you'll really see what my fingers are doing. First of all, we're going to keep our hands like this, not allowing our hands to bend forward, but like this. So the whole time, we keep our hands like this, they don't bend forward. And then we raise two fingers. We pull them down, we raise the middle two. We pull those down, the outside two. So now what we do is walk those two back and forth from the outsides through the middle to the insides. And many times when I teach these movements in my classes, people that are 30, 40, 50, 60 years old have some difficulty doing them. And I find it rather humorous that we've lived in our bodies for all those years, and yet we don't have control over this part of our body, our hands, which we use all day long. So here we're learning some coordination. So now what we're going to do is do the two middle ones and then the two outside. The two middle and the two outside. And both hands are doing the same thing at this point. Two middle and two outside. Two middle and two outside. And now I'll have this left hand going outside and the right hand going inside, and then I'll switch them. Sometimes it's difficult, as you see. The brain, when I'm talking, it makes it more difficult. The fourth one is splits. Two different ways. Now what I'm going to do is hang my arms down to the side. I'm just going to let my hands hang, because in a minute we're going to add some other motions into this, such as spinning around, but we'll still be doing the same hand motions. So now just concentrate on my fingers. Again, it's these twos moving across, back and forth, slowly. The speed is not important. You could be doing it very slowly. Just two fingers at a time are extending. Now we'll do the insides and the outsides. Insides and the outsides. And now, opposites. And now the splits. And those are the 4 finger exercises. Regarding the size of balls that you want to use for the spinning, it's best to have a ball that will comfortably fit in your hands. A lot of times when I give people these size balls, they say the balls are too big for their hands, and then I show them, well, here's 3 balls spinning in my hand and they're not touching. So it's not that the balls are too big for your hands, it's that your hands haven't opened up enough. They're not supple enough. And with time, they will become very supple. If you have too small of a ball, there's a tendency for the hand to stay closed, and we want to open our hands up because that will increase the suppleness. We also want a ball with some weight. The best place to find balls like this is you can go to toy stores in major cities, or a really good way is to go on the internet and to go onto a search engine like google.com and put in the word juggling. And all of these websites will pop up with different juggling supply companies. You can order one of their catalogs and then you can get lots of different types of balls from them. Continuing with the basic movements, we're going to learn some elementary ball spinning in ball juggling. So what you need to do is find 2 balls, go to a toy store. I find racket balls, if you can fill them with something, cutting a little hole in the racket ball and adding some pieces of rice or some beads in it, or lacrosse balls. Tennis balls are too light. Get 2 balls that are sufficient size for your hands where you can spin them well. And you'll notice that I'm going in either a clockwise direction or a counterclockwise. Here my right hand is going clockwise, such that if I looked down, I would see the balls are going clockwise, and I call this spinning out. And if I go counterclockwise, I call that spinning in. And the trick here is to not have the balls touching, to let the balls come to the outsides of your hands, and your hands are very, very soft. So again, we can go clockwise or counterclockwise. And you only have 2 sides of your body, and you can only go in 2 directions. So this may be difficult at first, and I've taught this to literally hundreds and hundreds of people at this point, and I've found that just in a matter of weeks, people get this very, very well. So if you can do it with your right hand, you can also do it with your left hand. So now here what I have is both hands spinning clockwise, which would be right hand spinning out and left hand spinning in. And I can reverse it so both balls are going counterclockwise, which is right hand spinning in and left hand spinning out. Both balls are going counterclockwise. Now if I have the right hand go clockwise and the left hand go counterclockwise, which is both balls spinning out, that's what's happening. Or I can reverse it and have both balls spinning in, which is right hand going clockwise, counterclockwise, and left hand going clockwise. Both balls are spinning in. So here's the 4 possibilities again. There's only 4. You have 2 hands and 2 balls. 2 times 2 is 4. So both balls, all 4 balls, both hands are going clockwise or going counterclockwise. Or all the balls are spinning in. Right hand is going counterclockwise, left clockwise. Or all the balls are spinning out. Right hand is going clockwise and left hand is going counterclockwise. So you see there's 2 types of tosses. There's spinning in and they're spinning out. Now, if we transfer that to 3 balls, some of the basics that we could do are all the balls going clockwise. So I'm just going in a clockwise circle, which means the right hand is tossing out and the left hand is tossing in. All the balls are going in a clockwise direction, but if I reverse it, I can have them all going counterclockwise. And there's only no one in the world can go in more directions than clockwise or counterclockwise. Not the greatest dancer, not the greatest basketball player, there's only 2 directions. Well, if you can get both hands going clockwise or counterclockwise, then why not have both balls tossing in? Because here again, if they're both going, all the balls are going clockwise, it means right is going out and left is going in. And if they're all going counterclockwise, it means right is going in and left is going out. So let's have both going in, which would mean left hand's going counterclockwise and right hand's going clockwise. All 3 balls are just tossing inward. And then I can reverse that and have all 3 balls tossing outward. Now what I'm going to do is take one of these balls and have it go through a figure 8 amidst the other balls. And then I'm going to reverse that figure 8. And then reverse it again. And then another one that I'd like you to learn is drops. I'm just going to drop the ball from off of the thumb of the hand, dropping it into the other hand. So again, the four different things, the four different ones with the four balls are both balls spinning inward, both balls spinning outwards. And you'll notice I can do this with my eyes shut. And the nice thing about doing it with your eyes shut is it's just feeling. The brain isn't distracted by visuals, and you can concentrate fully on the feeling. And it's ever so sensuous and beautiful of a feeling in your hands. So then with the three balls, here we have all the balls going in a clockwise direction. Notice my eyes are still shut. And all the balls going in a counterclockwise direction. And the balls both spinning in, all three of them spinning in, and all three of them spinning out. And then the figure eights. And again, learning to do these with your eyes shut will develop such extraordinary sensation and keenness of feeling and awareness in your hands. And a figure eight with the balls spinning out, and then those drops. And there's many more of these movements that I could show you, but we'll just do the basics today. We've just been doing some ball spinning. Now what we're going to do is learn ball juggling. Why do I use different things for the spinning and the juggling? The spinning, you want something that's hard and is round so it rolls around in your hand. When we're juggling, it's nice to have something that's soft, because in the beginning years of your juggling, you're going to drop a lot. And if you drop the ball bounces and rolls away, but if you drop a bag, it just stays put. So many toy stores have juggling balls, and you want something that's generally round and is pretty sturdy, pretty hard, and you just get three of them. Now, a lot of times dogs get these or children find them and they'll disappear. So when I first started juggling, I always had 7 or 8 of these just in different piles around the house. And you've maybe seen those bumper stickers of, did you hug your dog today, or did you hug a tree today? I think it's a good idea to hug your juggling balls every day by having lots of them around the house, and whenever you pass them, you'll see them, and they're these beautiful colors, and they sort of ask you to come and play with them. So now what we're going to do is learn how to juggle. The first step in the juggling is just to get one ball and practice tossing it from your left hand to your right hand, from your left hand to your right hand and back, right to left and left to right. And notice that I throw the ball up to a place just about a bit above my head. And you just throw the ball through this point. You imagine there's a point there, and you just throw the ball through the point. Notice that I don't reach up and grab the ball. No, gravity will bring it down to me. And you only have to see a certain portion of the arc of the trajectory for your brain to know where to send your hand to get the ball. So I don't reach up and I grab the ball. I just let the ball drop into my hands, and I try to make the trajectories from left to right and right to left pretty symmetrical. So you just do this a number of, quite a few times until you get this feeling that the left can toss to the right and the right can toss to the left. Then the next step is getting 2 balls. Now before I toss them, I'll show you what it's going to look like if it was really in slow motion. Let's say I tossed this ball and it goes up to the top of the trajectory and starts to come down. Just as it's starting to come down, I throw the other one underneath it. So if I started with the left hand, the left ball would go up to the top and start coming down, and then the right would flow underneath it. So here it is the tossing. Toss, toss. Right, left, left, right. Right, left, left, right. Right, left, left, right. Now it's important to notice that these are both tosses. It's not toss, pass. Toss, pass. That's not it. That was we don't want to do that. Toss, toss. Right, left, left, right. Right, left, left, right. And there's plenty of time. You throw the first one up, plenty of time before you have to throw the second one. It's just like walking. You take a right step, then a left step. You don't take 2 steps at the same time. It's just right, left, right, left. You already know how to do that. The brain knows how to go right, left, right, left. So with juggling, it's just like walking with your hands. Right, left, left, right. Right, left, left, right. And if you have a little problem with that, you can always go back to one ball and again notice, I can do this. I can toss from my left to my right and my right to my left. My brain knows how to do that. So then you just get the two balls again and you practice it. Right, left, left, right. Right, left, left, right. Then the next step is to get three balls. Put the third ball in your dominant hand. If you're right-handed, that's your dominant hand. If you're left-handed, that's your dominant hand. Put the third ball in your dominant hand and keep doing that same pattern. Throwing one up and the other one underneath. And notice that when the first ball is up at the top, you throw the second one underneath. So why not, when the second ball is up at the top, throw the third one underneath? So watch. 1, 2, 3. Each time a ball gets up to the top, I throw another one underneath. Now if I go very, very quick, you think, oh, it's so difficult, there's so many things happening. But really, there's just one ball in the air at a time. Notice there's always two balls in my hand. So though juggling looks very complex, there's only one ball in the air at a time. And each time that ball gets up to the top, I just throw another ball underneath. So again, the steps, very important. First of all, learning one ball, just going back and forth. And again, we don't reach up to get it. Gravity exists in your world, and you can let the ball drop down into your hand. And we don't want our hand to drop, we don't want to throw it right into the middle. We don't want to be doing this. Notice how my hands are out to the side. And then you get two balls, and you just throw one up and the other one underneath. 1, 2, 1, 2. Left, right, right, left. Left, right, right, left. Then you get the third ball, and every time one ball is up at the top, you throw another one underneath it. And that's all three-ball juggling is. You can get much more complex with it, and on some more advanced videos that I'll do in the future, I'll teach many, many more advanced juggling techniques, such as this one. But we won't learn those right now, just three-ball juggling. Every time one ball comes up to the top, you throw another one underneath. Now we'll begin the really fun part of this video, which is the combination movements. In the beginning part of the video, we learned all of these different basic movements. Now we're beginning to layer them. And the common one that most people have heard about is this. And people say, oh, I can't do two things at once, and they have a difficult time doing this. But if you've ever driven a standard transmission car, think about it. Your two hands are doing something, but every so often a hand goes and shifts gears while your feet are doing different things, while your eyes are looking around, and maybe you have the radio going and you're talking to your child in the seat next to you. So there's multiple simultaneous focuses of concentration. It happens automatically for a lot for us. You open the fridge, you open the door, you bend down, you reach in and you grab something while you're holding something else. A number of different movements. But here we're going to do it consciously. So we'll begin layering, adding to one another a number of the movements we did in the first part. So the arm wheels. The arm wheels again can be going in two different directions. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the arm wheels on automatic, and I'm going to start to add in another motion where the body is just turning around. So I have my body going in a counterclockwise direction while my hands are spinning forwards. And then I'm going to keep my hands spinning forwards, but I'm going to reverse the direction of my body so it's going counterclockwise. And now I'm going to keep my body going counterclockwise, and then what I'm going to do is reverse the direction of my hands so they're now spinning backwards. And in keeping my hands spinning backwards, I'm going to reverse my body back to going clockwise. And you'll notice that there's four different possibilities there. The hands can go forwards or backwards, and the body can spin clockwise or counterclockwise. Two different bodies, movements, times two. 2 times 2 equals 4. So you have this possibility of 4 there. Now what we're going to do on the next one is we're going to have the body circles while we do some shoulder movements. Earlier I showed you 8 different types of shoulder circles. We're not going to do them all here, but you can do them all. I'm just going to do a few of them. First of all, I'm going to set up my shoulders going in a simultaneous backwards position. Again, we want the hands on the belly button and the fingers lightly clasped together. We keep our hands here again so that we don't try to assist the movement of our shoulders with our elbows. The elbows will be lifted by the shoulders, but they're not doing the lifting. So now what I'm going to do is, keeping the simultaneous shoulder circles backwards, I'm going to turn in a counterclockwise direction. I just keep my body going counterclockwise while the shoulders go simultaneous backwards. And in keeping my shoulders going simultaneous backwards, I'm going to reverse the direction of my body so it's now turning clockwise. And in keeping my body going clockwise, I'm going to reverse the direction of my shoulders so they're now going forwards. And keeping my shoulders going forwards, I'm going to reverse the direction of my spin of my body so it's now going counterclockwise. So again, we went through 4 different possibilities. But the shoulders could also be going alternate backwards. A whole different pattern with the shoulders. So I'll put them on automatic, and then I'll add in a secondary motion as the body starts turning counterclockwise while the shoulders are spinning alternately backwards. And I'll keep that alternate backwards movement, and then I'll reverse the direction of the circle of my body. And in keeping my body turning clockwise, I'll reverse the direction of my shoulders so they're going alternate forwards. And then I'll reverse the direction of my body so it's spinning counterclockwise and my shoulders are still going alternate forwards. So you could do those body spins in either direction with the 8 different possible shoulder rotation movements. The next of the combination movements, again, dual movements, 2 different movements together. What we'll do is we're going to first of all bring up the knee, and we're going to start the leg pendulums. So I have my right leg spinning out. And then what I start to do is add in an arm wheel. Now, keeping the arm wheel going, I could reverse the direction of my leg so it's spinning counterclockwise, or I could reverse the direction of the hands and reverse the direction of the legs. So I just went through the 4 different possibilities here. Again, now I have my left leg spinning in, my right leg spinning in counterclockwise, arms going forward. Now I reverse the arms so they're going backwards. And then I reverse the leg again and reverse the arms again. So again, there's 4 different possibilities. I could do it on the left leg too, raising the left, setting up the pendulum, starting the arms. Keeping the leg pendulum going in that same direction, and you saw it's a little difficult there, and then switching the pendulum, and then switching the arms. So the trick is to get one circle going, add in another circle, and then when you switch direction in circle A or circle B, do it in such a way that it doesn't influence the directional rotation of the other one. So you have 2 simultaneous focuses of concentration. So we were doing leg pendulums, but we could also do foot pendulums with the arm wheels. So my right foot is spinning outward and my hands are spinning forwards. Now I've reversed it. Both are reversed. And so you have again 4 different possibilities. Here they're going contrasting to one another. And you can do the same thing on both sides, setting up one circle and then adding in another. Multiple simultaneous focuses of attention. Okay, the next movement is we're going to start with hip rotations, which we learned earlier. And again, there's 2 different directions, counterclockwise or clockwise, only those 2. The greatest African or belly dancer in the world doesn't have 3 circles. And everyone watching this video has the same and anatomical apparatus of muscles and joints and ligaments as I do, so you have this equal capacity to make these nice fluid circles. So we just set up one circle. Now I've got my hips going counterclockwise, and I add in another one of my hands. Now I'm going to keep my hips going counterclockwise, and I reverse the direction of my hands. Now I'm going to keep my hands spinning backwards and reverse the direction of the hips so they're going clockwise. And then keeping the hips going clockwise, reversing the hands. And then keeping the hands going that way and reversing the hips so they're going counterclockwise. And then keeping the hips that way and reversing the hands so they're spinning back. Again, since we're doing two different things at the same time, we always have that 2 times 2 equals 4, 4 different rotational possibilities. Now what we'll do is we're going to add some hip circles into the shoulder circles. So I'll set up the hip circles in either counterclockwise or clockwise, and then I'll start doing shoulder circles. And it's a little bit more difficult when I'm trying to talk doing this, but now I have my hips going in a counterclockwise circle and my shoulders going in a simultaneous backwards. Then I just reversed my shoulders so they're going simultaneous forwards, but the hips are still going counterclockwise. And now what I'll do is I'll keep the shoulders going forward and I'll switch the hips so they're going clockwise. And in keeping the hips so they're going clockwise, I'll reverse the shoulders so they're going spinning simultaneous backwards. And you could do that with any of the shoulder circles. Here's my shoulder circles doing simultaneous opposites, right going back, left going forward. Gets a little bit more difficult because there's actually 3 simultaneous focuses of concentration here. The hips and the 2 shoulders going in opposite direction. And then I just switched all 3 at once. Another really interesting and fun combination movement that we can do involves spinning the balls, which we learned earlier. There's 4 different directions, remember, spinning in, spinning out, spinning clockwise or counterclockwise. So that's 4 different possibilities. Then we're going to add in the arm wheels. Now arm wheels have 2 different directions that you could go in. So 2 times 4 equals 8. So there's 8 different possibilities. Notice that I'm keeping my hands, the balls in my hands are both spinning in. That means right hand is going counterclockwise and left is going clockwise. And I keep the hands doing that, but I keep the arms, I switch the direction of the arms. So I've added arm wheels into ball spinning. And there's 8 different possibilities. 4 with the arms going forward and 4 with the arms going backwards. And so what you do is you just shut your eyes and you put your arms going forwards on automatic, and you take the 4 balls in your hands through the 4 different possibilities, and I'll do it here. They're both spinning in, and now I reverse the left so it's spinning out. So both balls are going counterclockwise while the arms continue to go forward. Then I reverse the right hand ball so it's spinning out too. Now all 4 balls are spinning out, and now I reverse the left, and so it's spinning inward and the right is spinning outward. Everything's clockwise. And then again I bring the right so it's spinning in, and I just went through the 4 different possibilities with the arms going forward. I could do the same thing with the arms backwards. Arms are going backwards, both balls are out, both balls are going counterclockwise, both balls are in, and both balls are going counterclockwise. 4 different possibilities. If we can do those 4 ball spins with the arm wheels, let's keep our arms stationary, keep the balls going, and add in hip circles. So here again we get the possibility of 8 different combinations, because there's 4 different combinations that we could have just with our hands, and then we have 2 different possibilities with our hips. The hips are either going clockwise or counterclockwise. So again, once you learn to do these movements, it's best to shut your eyes and just feel it, and then you can station your attention in a distinct anatomical region of your body and feel those circles, feel them, not just see them, but feel them while the other circles keep going. So I'm going to put my hips now in a counterclockwise direction. And in my hands, I'm feeling the balls all spinning inward. It means my right hand is going counterclockwise and my left hand is going clockwise. Now I'm going to reverse both balls, both hands, so they're both spinning out. Both hands are spinning out, but the hips keep going counterclockwise. Then I have all the balls going clockwise while the hips are going counterclockwise, or the hips are now going counterclockwise while the balls go counterclockwise. Then I'll switch the direction of the hips. So they're going clockwise, but the balls are going counterclockwise. Then I'll switch the balls so they're going clockwise, same direction as the hips. And then again, both balls are spinning out, and now both balls are spinning in. And I'm able to get the balls switching their direction and having no effect upon the hips. So that's the key. Shutting your eyes, and you can take your attention, and you can either have your attention localized in your hands while the hips keep going, or you have your attention localized in the hips while the hands keep going and do the switching in directions. If we can add two movements together, what we were just doing with the arm wheels and the ball spinning, let's do something with our hips in the ball spinning. So I'm going to set up the balls so they're just doing one of the four possible circles. I'll just start with the balls both spinning in, which is right going counterclockwise and left going clockwise. And then I'll add in a hip circle. Now again, the size of the hip circle is not important, nor is the speed of it important. What is important is the roundness of it, the smoothness of it, the gentleness of it. Now notice I'm going to keep the balls going in that same direction, but I'm just going to reverse the hips so they're now going clockwise. And then I'll reverse them again. So you see what I'm doing is I'm keeping the balls in my hands on an automatic pattern while I reverse from clockwise to counterclockwise or counterclockwise to clockwise the hips. So also I could have the balls spinning out, right hand going clockwise, left hand going counterclockwise, and I could reverse the hips in either direction. Now watch what I'm going to do is I'm going to shut my eyes and I'm going to have everything going in the same direction. The balls in my hands are both going clockwise. Right is spinning out and left is spinning in, but they're both going clockwise, and my hips are also going clockwise. And now I'm going to keep the balls going clockwise while I reversed my hips to going counterclockwise. And then I'll reverse the balls also going counterclockwise. So everything is now going counterclockwise. Then keeping the balls going counterclockwise, I reverse the hips so they're going clockwise. And so by the stationing of your attention in one region of your body, you can really focus on the perfect circles there. And then when you switch the circles of the other part of your body, trying to do it in such a way that it doesn't influence or disturb the rotational spin of the other part of the body. Now we have 8 different possibilities here. The hips can be going clockwise or counterclockwise, and there's 4 possibilities here. So you could just keep the hips on counterclockwise, set the balls up on counterclockwise, and then one by one, through 4 different changes, bring the hands back to where they started. So now I just switch the right hand, so both balls are now spinning out. Right hand is going clockwise and left hand is going counterclockwise, hips still going counterclockwise. Now I reverse the left hand, so it's also going clockwise. Both hands are opposite to what the hips are doing. Then I reverse the right hand, it's spinning in, both balls are spinning in, hips are still going counterclockwise. And then I reverse the left hand again and I'm back to where I started. So the same thing could happen on the right side. You put the hips on automatic, spinning to the right, you bring your attention to your hands, and you go through the 4 different possibilities. And notice the face is soft, my belly is soft. There's no tension anywhere. Just this learning to distinguish your concentration in 2 separate anatomical locations of your body. Continuing to use the spinning movements with the hands and adding them into still a different type of movement. We were just spinning with the arm wheels and spinning with the hip circles. Now what we'll do is we'll spin with body rotations. So again, you have 8 different possibilities because the body can be turning counterclockwise, while I'd go through 4 different possibilities of spin with the balls, or the body could be going clockwise, and still there's 4 different possibilities of spin with the balls. So 2 times 4 is going to give you 8. And you could do the same thing with 3. Very interesting is I'm going to set up a clockwise pattern with 3 balls. Clockwise pattern with 3 balls. Then I'm going to turn my body also in a clockwise pattern. So what my hands are doing, that part of my brain that is regulating what my hands are doing, is in a clockwise pattern inside my brain. And the body is also turning in a clockwise pattern. But then what I'm going to do is I'm going to reverse the balls in my hands so they're now going counterclockwise while my body continues to go clockwise. And in keeping the balls going counterclockwise, I'm going to reverse my body so it's going counterclockwise. And in keeping my body going counterclockwise, I'm going to reverse the balls so they're going clockwise again. But I could also do the more complex pattern where one hand is tossing in, both hands are tossing in, but right hand is now clockwise and left is counterclockwise. So I actually have 2 different things happening in my hand, and then I add in a spin, a counterclockwise spin of my body, and I keep the spin in my hands going in the same direction, but I reverse the spin of my body. And there's so many different possibilities. So many different possibilities. The combination movements we've been doing so far basically involve all the upper part of the body. There's some hip movements and some spinning, but we haven't used the lower part of our body first. So now what I'm going to do is set up one of the basic movements that we first learned, which is the knee leading and the foot following. And then I'm going to add in the spinning of the balls. And so while the knee leads and the foot follows, I'm going to go through the 4 different possibilities of the ball spinning, which is both spinning in as I'm doing now, both spinning out, both spinning clockwise, and both spinning counterclockwise. And I can also do the same thing on the right leg with the left leg doing the movement side to side. So again, I'll go through the 4 different possibilities. Both balls are spinning in, both balls are spinning out, both balls are spinning clockwise, and both balls are spinning counterclockwise. If you can do those side-to-side leg motions spinning with the balls, certainly you could do it also with the arm wheels. So again, I'll set up a movement with my legs, and then I'll add the arms in. Now I'm going to keep my leg going in the same direction, but I'm going to reverse the direction of my hands. And then reversing the hands again. And the same thing, standing on the right, setting up the motion of the left, adding in the hands. Reversing the hands. Reversing them again. So again, I'm going to set up the motion in my hands with the balls going in my hands, spinning both in, right hand clockwise, counterclockwise, left hand clockwise. Now what I'm going to do is add in shoulder circles. Now there's so many possible variations here because you have 4 different possible variations with your hands and 8 with your shoulders, so 4 times 8 is 32. So I'm not going to go through all 32 circles. But here I have my shoulders spinning simultaneous forwards and the ball spinning inwards. Now what I'm going to do is keep the shoulders spinning simultaneous forwards, but I reverse the direction of the ball so they're spinning outwards. And in keeping the balls spinning outwards, I'm going to reverse the direction of my shoulders so they're spinning backwards. And in keeping the direction of my shoulders spinning backwards, I'm going to reverse my left hand so it's now spinning clockwise. Both balls are now going clockwise while the shoulders go backwards, or both balls can be going counterclockwise while the shoulders are spinning backwards. And now keeping the balls both spinning counterclockwise, I reverse the shoulders again so they're going forwards. Balls are still spinning counterclockwise. You drop a lot. You know, the first few years of me juggling, I dropped 1,000 balls, so that's all right. And in still keeping the shoulders spinning forwards, I reverse the balls again. Now I'm going to keep the balls spinning and let go of the shoulders, and I'm going to add that motion we learned in earlier. And one of the basic motions is the arms are just going back and forth, left over right, and right over left. And so while that's happening, you could again reverse the directions of the balls through the 4 different possible rotational movements as the arms kept going. Now, one of the neatest is when I do these circles with my arms. So now it's kind of hard to see from the angle of the camera, but I'll angle my hands down a little bit so you'll see it. Everything is spinning in. My arms are spinning in, and the balls are spinning in. Now I'm going to keep my arms spinning in, but I just reverse the direction of the balls right there. And then I'm going to keep the balls spinning out, and I'm going to reverse the direction of the arms so they're also spinning out. And in keeping the balls out, I'll reverse the arms going out, I'll reverse the balls so they're still spinning in, but the balls are going out. Now a very interesting thing is here everything is going clockwise. Left and right arm are spinning clockwise, left over right and right over left, while the balls are also going clockwise. But there I just reverse the direction of the balls so the balls are spinning counterclockwise and the arms are going clockwise. And then I'll reverse the arms so they're going counterclockwise along with the balls that are going counterclockwise. And then I'll keep the arms going counterclockwise and reverse the balls so they're going clockwise. So again, the possibilities. Everything spinning in. Now the arms spinning in and the balls spinning out. And now the balls in the arms spinning out. And then the arms spinning out and the balls spinning in. And everything still is right over left and left over right. Now everything spinning clockwise and everything spinning counterclockwise. But I could keep the arms going counterclockwise and reverse the hands so they're going clockwise. Or get everything going clockwise and then reverse the balls so they're now going counterclockwise while the arms are going clockwise. Now the next movement we're going to do, the next combination movement, is I'm going to have my body spinning while I'm doing different things with my hands. So first of all, I'm going to set up a juggling pattern that you learned a bit ago. And I'm just going to have this very simple juggling pattern going, and then I'm going to start turning my body in a counterclockwise direction. So the balls just keep tossing. Each time a ball comes up to the top, I throw another one underneath, and the body is just spinning slowly in a counterclockwise direction. And then I keep the pattern going with my hands, and I simply reverse the direction of the spin of my body. So there's 2 simultaneous focuses of concentration in the sense of the upper and the lower part of my body. One part of my brain is doing this juggling, and another part of my brain is turning my body. If you don't have juggling balls with you and you'd like to do this practice, then what we could do, for example, is let's add in those figure 8s with the hands. And remember, there's a number of different possibilities. The hands going in like this, or the hands going out, or both hands going in this direction or in this direction. So there's 4 different possibilities. I'll set up this one, and then I'll start turning counterclockwise. And I don't allow the turning of the counterclockwise motion to disturb the motion of my hands. So my hands are still very graceful and quite balanced with one another, and they're doing the same thing. And I keep the hands doing the same thing, and I reverse the direction of the spin of my body. Or I could keep my body spinning in the clockwise direction and reverse my hands. And in keeping my hands in that direction, reverse my body again so it's going counterclockwise. And again, we have a possibility of 8 different movements, because there's 4 different movements with the hands and 2 different with the body. 2 times 4 is 8. The last of the double combination movements that we'll do, and then we'll go on to the triples, but the last of the double combination movements is we're going to do something with our shoulders and with our hands at the same time. Remember, there's 8 different possibilities of shoulder circles, so I'm not going to go through all 8 here. I'll just do maybe 2 of them while I add in some movements with my fingers. So let's say I start with simultaneous backwards, and then look at what's happening with my fingers. I'm doing that 2 walking side to side. 2 fingers are extending on the side, and then 2 fingers are extending in the middle and on the opposite side. Now I could reverse the direction of my shoulders while my fingers kept going. Or I could switch the direction. Notice what I'm doing now. And so I set up the shoulder circles in either direction while I bring my attention to my hands. These are especially complicated because one part of the brain is trying to control the hand, the arm, this right side of the body, and that part of the brain, which is, by the way, the left side of the brain, is controlling the right side of the body. It would like everything on the right side of the body to be doing the same thing. But I'm doing this or this while the hands are doing different things. So this really develops a very precise ability of the brain to station its attention in 2 distinctly different parts of the body and have changing motions occurring. Now I'm doing the splits. Now we come to one of the most exciting parts of the coordination multi-movement form, and that's where we're going to simultaneously layer 3 different types of movements. So we've already learned body spins, we've already learned hand wheels, and now just a very simple third one is what we'll call head nods. So watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to start one movement, add a second, and add a third. So first what I'll do is I'll start my body turning in a counterclockwise circle, and then I'll add in the arms. And then I slowly add in the head nods. Now I just reverse the direction of my hands, and I keep the head nods going, and now I reverse the direction of my body, and I reverse the direction of the hands again. So I have 3 simultaneous focuses of concentration here. The head is slowly going up and down, the arms are spinning either forwards or backwards, and the body is turning either counterclockwise or clockwise. The next of the triple movements we'll do, body spinning with shoulder circles with 4-ball spinning. So first what I'll do is I'll just go ahead. I could start with any of the 3, but I'll start with the ball spinning inward. That's right hand going counterclockwise, left going clockwise. And then I have 8 different possibilities of shoulder circles that I could do. So again, I'll just start with the shoulders simultaneously going backwards. Then I have 2 different possibilities of body rotation, and I'll just start turning counterclockwise. So my shoulders are doing circles, the balls in my hands are doing circles, and I'm turning my body counterclockwise. But then what I'll do is I'll keep the shoulders and the hands doing the same thing and reverse the body so it's going clockwise. And then I'll reverse the direction of the balls in my hands, keeping the shoulders and the body going in the same direction, but just having reversed the hands. And then reversing the hands again. And now how about if I reverse the shoulders back again? And then reverse the body again. So you have 3 different focuses of concentration, and you could switch the rotational directions of each. Now you have 2 with your body, 4 with your hands, and 8 with your shoulders. It gives you a possibility of 64 different movements that you could find. Another fascinating combination of 3 different movements. Again, I'm going to set up the ball spinning. Again, you could go in one of 4 different rotational directions. So I'm going to this time spin both balls going out. Then I'm going to add in the arms, so they're arm wheels. They're both spinning backwards. And then what I'm going to do is add in a leg motion. Now I'll keep the leg motion going in the same direction, but I would just reverse the direction of the arms and the balls. Now I reverse the direction of the balls but not the arms, and then the balls again, and then the arms but not the balls. And so you have all these possibilities here. The legs just keep going, but the balls either switch direction or the arms switch direction. And you can do the same thing standing on the right leg. And you could start with this motion, first put that in, then get the arms going if you wished, and then start spinning the balls. Or you could spin the balls first and then add in the arms. And the whole time I'm keeping my left toe pointed and my right leg is gracefully going back and forth. And I'm running through the different possibilities of movements with my hands and my arms. Another interesting 3 movement combination is, first of all, we'll get the hips going, and there are 2 different circle possibilities, counterclockwise or clockwise. So here I've got counterclockwise. Then I'm going to add the arms in and the balls spinning. So the balls are spinning, 4 different possibilities there. The arms are doing crosses, and the hips are going in circles. Now I reverse the direction of the hip circles, and you could do the same thing with the hips going in circles and the arm wheels going while the balls are going. There's so many possibilities here. Your imagination is the only thing that will limit you here. And the last of the 3 movement combinations that I'll show is quite a complicated one, but I'm going to lift my knee and I'm going to start a leg pendulum. Then I'm going to start a shoulder circle simultaneously going backwards, and then I'm going to add in finger movements. And now I'll reverse the direction of the leg pendulum, reverse the direction of the shoulder, and keep adding in the finger movements. And I can do the splits, or I can do the other types of finger movements. And you could have both legs going clockwise or counterclockwise. You could have the shoulders going through all their possibilities, and you could have so many different possibilities with the hands. And I've counted up to 512 different possibilities in that set of combinations. So again, your imagination is the only thing that limits you. Well, that's the end of the video. I've really enjoyed making this video, and for many years I've been teaching these classes, and everyone has so much enjoyed learning this material. I hope that you'll continue to practice it. I hope one of the things that it will bring to you is a great sense of play. I find so many adults, they stop playing with balls, they stop rolling around. I'm 48, just turned 48 a few days ago, and I still roll around with children all the time, climb trees, play, play, play. keeping life really soft, really light. It will make your life so much more beautiful. And having some balls around your house to hug at all times is a wonderful thing. And not being in a hurry, never being in a hurry to learn anything quick, because it's not getting somewhere that is the point, but it's enjoying the process. And this teaches us the movements that I show in the flexibility form, in the morning movements form, in the strength training form, and this multi-focus coordination form. They teach us so many things. And one of the most wonderful things is their meditations. Yes, you'll learn some movements, but the primary thing that you're going to learn is to station your attention deeper and deeper inside of your body and love parts of your body more and more. The wonderful thing about some of these movements is that they become magnets for your attention. As I do a flexibility movement, posture in the flexibility form, as I do one of these, there's a sensation of stretch, and this sensation of stretch becomes a magnet for my attention so that my attention can go to that part of my body. When you learn this capacity, then you can take your attention anywhere you want in your body, and you can notice, is there a tension? Is there a holding on? And you can consciously soften in that place. You can consciously bring a lightness, a joy, and an ease into your own body. When you learn to do it in your body, you can also do it in your mind. That's why I call the Nomadics movement meditations. So thank you very much for being with me, and I hope to see you in one of my classes one day. Bye-bye. This concludes the Nomadics Strength video. In closing, I would like to express deep gratitude to all the dance and movement teachers I have studied with, and equally important, appreciation to the many hundreds of students who have taken my own classes over the past 20 years. Studying and teaching movement has been an extraordinarily important part of my life. From this life of movement, I have been gifted with abundant health, a legendary vitality, and an ever-increasing awareness of the great spiritual beauty of human life. It is my hope that my movement teachings, through the Nomadics method, will touch many other people's lives in an equally beautiful way. Thank you and much peace to you.